Hey guys, how are we today? Thank you for being here. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're back, welcome back to my channel. Very happy to have you back. Missed you. I hope you have a drink. I hope you have a nice snack next to you because we're about to go into it today. So what kind of really started this is from my own personal story. I've been dealing with very bad anxiety as well as intrusive thoughts ever since I was like 8 years old, 10 years old. It was a mess, okay? And I really was very anxious, but I also always knew that I was intuitive. Like, I would tell my friend, oh, I don't know, there's just something about this situation I don't trust. 2 weeks later, the truth comes out. The truth will always be revealed. For years of my life, I didn't know if the voices in my head was basically my intuition trying to guide me, or if it was anxiety screaming lies. And since I've been there, I know how confusing and how stressful and exhausting that is and feels. But fear not, for I am here. And today, I want to help you learn how to tell the difference between your intuition and your anxiety so you can trust yourself and find peace. As usual, let's start with the basic. We're gonna break it down, basically define before we start, right? So what is intuition? I'd say intuition is a calm, clear, knowing, or gentle guidance from within. And usually intuition in your body feels very quiet, very steady, and it's sometimes very subtle nudges. Your intuition's energy is safe, loving, and supportive. Your intuition wants to protect you, wants to guide you, and it knows what's best for you. So an example of intuition is a quiet gut feeling that something is either right or wrong without panic. Now that we have dissected what is intuition, we're going to go into what is anxiety, because in order to move forward, we need to understand both. So what is anxiety? I would say anxiety is like fear-based, overwhelming, urgent, and very stressful thoughts. They could even be invasive. Like, literally, you would be there and a thought pops up and you're like, whoa, and then your whole body is reacting to it and you're like, what's going on? Why am I causing this own panic for myself? Anxiety has a very distinct appearance, especially in your physical body. So once you notice those things, you can realize that this is from anxiety. A couple of those things that anxiety induces in you physically is tight chest, racing heart, tension, restlessness, overthinking, sweating, tremors even. Everything is affected by anxiety, right? It's like a fight or flight. It instigates that. Anxiety's energy usually is very loud, chaotic, and it's demanding attention. It's demanding your attention. An example of anxiety is technically when you're obsessing, not just overthinking, but obsessing on the what ifs that you have zero proof of, zero certainty of, and your worst case scenarios, which usually come as invasive or technically intrusive thoughts. Those are the ones that I literally have to step back because I'm like, I cannot believe that I just thought of something like this cruel to myself right now. I did not need to see that, okay? And I would get worried. Intrusive thoughts are kind of like what you fear happening. And for me personally, I used to struggle with the fact that my brain would loop the scenario, and even if I'm not feeding it attention, it's just looping over and over and over again of something that really would stress me out, like really stress me out. It could be the most basic thing. And I learned recently the way for me to step out of it is to let it run its course. But while it's running its course, for me to set the intention that this does not bother me, this will not manifest, this is not my truth, this is my anxiety trying to protect me. However, I do not need its protection and I can handle anything myself. So now that we have dissected what is anxiety and what is intuition, we're going to go deeper into how to tell the difference. With intuition, it brings peace even if the message is challenging, whereas anxiety demands and creates panic and fear, and often with no clear solution. It's like basically this is what's going to happen and that's the end of the world. There's nothing we can do about it. In intuition, it feels like a soft whisper, often unheard if there is chaos and noise in the mind. But anxiety is technically the voices and the overwhelming thoughts in your mind. It is a shout or a noise overload. There's just too much going on at the same time. You don't know what to focus on. You don't know where to put your energy. It's just too much. Very chaotic. This is anxiety at its core. If you are stuck really feeling like you don't know if this is intuition or anxiety, I need you to take a minute and really focus on what is going on inside your body. Check and notice for your breath. Check and notice for your heart rate and muscle tension. Oh, let me tell you about that one. Sometimes I would literally catch myself with my shoulders like up here. I wouldn't know why, but I would just feel it. And then I would put them down and I'd be like, whoa, what was I so anxious about? What was I so tense about? Like, there's literally nothing, right? But my body was just so accustomed to that anxiety and that fear that it doesn't matter the situation, because if it's happening inside me, then I'm carrying it everywhere with me. And then an extra tip is ask yourself, is this feeling inviting you to act from love or to act from fear? So if you want to dig a bit deeper, we're going to dissect more on intrusive thoughts. They are unwanted, scary, stressful, and invasive, also disturbing thoughts, often caused by anxiety. They can mimic intuition, but the difference is that anxiety is trying to trap you. It is trying to keep you safe by keeping you in a state of like overload in the mind, but to the point that you're not willing to act. You're not willing to put yourself out there and face it. But the actual only way to deal with anxiety is to face it. Personally, for me, they affected me a lot, intrusive thoughts, especially growing up, because as I've mentioned, I've had it for quite some time, and they have bothered me a lot, especially because, for example, my mom would be out with her friends and she would not answer her phone. So I would have a literal scenario in my mind going on about literally all the things that could go wrong. And I was like a kid, right? But I literally had thoughts about she could have been hurt, she could have been kidnapped, she could have been like, I don't know, dude. I was like 8 and I already was assuming the worst possible options. And these are like intrusive thoughts, right? Because you don't want them there. They're creating a lot of disturbing emotions inside. You feel like it's like, why am I thinking about this? I don't want to think about this. This is too much for me. And it's trying to protect you by giving you the worst case scenarios, and it's trying to trap you in a stage where you don't hurt yourself by acting or doing something that could potentially cause something. But in reality, that is not your truth. That is not your inner voice. This is your fear. This is your anxiety. If you don't know yourself enough, it is very hard to differentiate these two. It is hard to separate the thoughts from the person, because you are not your thoughts, but you can use them to your advantage. To hear your intuition better, you need to start rebuilding self-trust with yourself. If you want like small practices to reconnect with your intuition, it would be like meditating and quiet moments, journaling your feelings without judgment. This is so important, gang. This has changed my life. I would write 7 to 8 pages, and trust me, I'm going crazy, like absolutely ballistic, freaking all caps, just yelling and screaming. But it is so important to let yourself express them and let them out, because or else you're just trapping them inside, right? There's nowhere else for them to go. So eventually they're going to explode out of you at the cost of your life, the cost of your friends, your cost of your family, whatever it is, in a way that you don't want it to come out. But that's because you're repressing it. So it's really important to just drop all judgment and let yourself feel exactly what you need to feel and express it. Write it out. Nothing's gonna happen if you write it out. In fact, you are intentionally letting go of the things that are keeping your heart heavy. Another thing you can do is to learn and practice awareness and noticing patterns of when anxiety spikes versus when intuition nudges. So really you start to notice and start to differentiate between the two by how you feel. So like example, like you're thinking of something, you get this thought, right? And you feel like your heart racing and there's a pit in your stomach, whatever. That's anxiety. That's not the truth. Don't feed into it. Let it pass. Let it go. This is through meditation, but work on not addressing it. Okay, it's a thought. It's passing by. It's like a cloud. It will move on. But the more you feed it, the more it has grounds to dig deeper. This is why it's important to just let it go. An affirmation you can use more frequently to get you to adapt more into this is, I am learning to trust my inner voice. I am learning to trust my inner guidance more and more every day. Now, for when you feel confused, when you feel anxious, here are some grounding practices that you can also try. Breath work. Breathwork is so important. If you don't know, when there is a lack of oxygen in your lungs, that also spikes anxiety. So when you're having an anxiety attack and you're not breathing in fully inside, your body is thinking that you're dying. So yes, you're going to panic. Yes, you're going to feel like everything else is functioning at the same time. This is why they say you need to breathe. You need to take a deep breath when you're anxious, because taking a deep breath is stabilizing your nervous system, and it's telling you that you are safe to breathe, fully safe to calm down, safe to relax. So you can try or research about the 4-7-8 breathing method, or simple deep breaths like that one's my favorite personally. I like doing that, and I like to do it multiple times. It makes me feel grounded. That is the con of anxiety. It takes you in here and it makes you forget everything going on outside. So when this is going on, I need you to focus on what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you can feel or touch right now. I personally always keep a spoon in the freezer, and so basically whenever I want to ground myself back to reality, I take it out and I put it on my skin. And what that does is that instead of focusing up here, all your senses are going to go into that spot, and it's like a moment of relief, a moment of awareness, a moment where you can step out of your thoughts for a second and catch yourself off guard. And so this is where you're going to take the opportunity to change the course of where your thoughts are going. Yes, I'm not saying this is easy, but I'm saying you can do it, and I'm literally giving it to you step by step, because if I can do it, you can too. Another thing you're gonna do when you want to ground yourself when you're confused is movement. Walking, light stretching, some yoga, like cool stuff that helps you reconnect with your body and to calm your nervous system down. And again, I will say you need a level of empathy and non-judgment towards yourself, okay? Because this is something new, this is something hard, this is something that you're not gonna get on the first try. And even if you do it a couple times correctly, one day you could subconsciously, it could come out and you wouldn't notice it. But that's fine. You need to be gentle with yourself. You need to take it easy, and you need to understand that you're doing the best with what you have, and you will learn more as you do it. And it's not bad to be where you are. At least you are trying. At least you are trying. And that is more than you can say for half of the population. Okay? So yes, not easy, but also not impossible. Let's put that out there. It's okay to feel scared. And it's okay to feel lost, and it's okay to feel confused. I was literally 8, 9, 10 when they were telling me, or when I was feeling at least very depressed, very anxious, very hopeless. I'm not going to lie. And it wasn't until I turned 20 until I started changing my life, and I was open to receiving guidance, and I was open to changing the way I was thinking rather than being so stuck to it, thinking this is the only way I can think. There's no other way that I can think. So if it's possible for me to get to where I am today, from a place of complete lack to a place of complete safety and security within myself and within the people around me and all of that, then it's possible for you. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight, but if you at least invest in yourself enough to work on those things at least once, twice, 3 times, and then more and more throughout your life, then you're gonna get better at it, just like you can get better at anything you keep trying towards. With time and patience and faith, your intuition will become the loudest voice in your mind and in your body. Finally, I need you to understand, you are not alone, and healing is possible. Okay guys, that's it. Checking my notes, I pretty much said everything I needed to say. If this video helped you, and I hope it did, because that is really why I'm doing this. I don't even care about anything. I don't even want fame. I don't even want money. I don't want nothing. I'm just happy to help people get out of that place, because I was there and I know how annoying it is to be there. But I also know that it's possible to change if you want it. If you want it. So if you want it, then I would suggest for you to like this video, subscribe, because I'm gonna drop a lot more stuff that's going to help you improve and upgrade, because that's the point of this channel, the point of me here. And please do not hesitate to share this with somebody struggling with their anxiety, or struggling with their intuition, or struggling to just feel safe in themselves. Do not leave this video before starting a conversation with me, and drop it in the comments, okay? And tell me, what is one way that you're going to create space for your intuition? today? Let me know, and I'd love to talk more about this with you guys. And again, very grateful. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.